Did Monica White survive in real life? The dating app killer true story? Warning, spoiler warning. This video contains disturbing details about Monica White's real-life encounter with Anthony Robinson, the man known as the shopping cart killer, as well as major spoilers from the Lifetime movie, The Dating App Killer, The Monica White Story. Did Monica White actually survive in real life? Yes, and that's what makes her story so disturbing. Monica White is a real woman from Pennsylvania who survived an encounter with Anthony Eugene Robinson, the man later known as the shopping cart killer. Her story became the basis for Lifetime's 2026 movie, The Dating App Killer, The Monica White Story, starring Leela Roshan as Monica and Jared Joseph as Robinson. But the real story is different from a typical thriller. Monica wasn't pretending to be a victim in a movie. She really met Robinson through a dating app. She really allowed him into her life. And she really walked away from the relationship before she knew the horrifying truth about him. So how did Monica survive? And how close was she to becoming another victim? Let's go back to 2020. Monica was 53 and had recently gone through a divorce. She decided to start dating again and created profiles on dating sites. That's when Anthony Robinson contacted her. According to Monica's account, Robinson initially seemed charming. They talked regularly and developed a connection online. Eventually, they decided to meet in person. Robinson traveled from Virginia to Pennsylvania in early 2021. And almost immediately, Monica noticed something strange. According to her later account, Robinson told her not to judge him and said he didn't like being rejected by women. At the time, that might have sounded like an awkward comment. Looking back, it became one of the biggest warning signs. Robinson also moved extremely quickly. He reportedly talked about moving in with Monica almost immediately. She told him he was moving too fast. But the situation became even more disturbing during an intimate encounter. Monica later said Robinson tried to restrain her by pulling her arms behind her back and grabbing her neck. She didn't want that, and she stopped the encounter. That moment became a major turning point. Monica began to understand that something wasn't right about the man she had met online, but she still had no idea what was coming. Robinson returned to Pennsylvania again around Monica's birthday. According to Monica's account, his behavior became increasingly disturbing. He reportedly drank heavily, behaved inappropriately around people close to her, and eventually urinated in her bed. For Monica, that was enough. She ended the relationship. She told him to leave and gave him money for transportation. But Robinson didn't simply disappear. He remained in the area and eventually stayed at a motel in Harrisburg. Then he contacted Monica again. According to her account, he offered her $500 to come to the motel. She refused. That decision was extremely important, because after Monica rejected him, she never met Robinson again. Later, she learned just how dangerous the man she had dated actually was. In November 2021, Robinson was arrested in connection with murders in Virginia. He became known publicly as the shopping cart killer because investigators said he used shopping carts to move victims' bodies after killing them. Monica eventually saw his mugshot and realized the man she had dated was now at the center of a murder investigation. Imagine discovering that months after allowing someone into your home. The emotional impact was enormous. Monica later told reporters that she wondered whether her rejection had somehow contributed to Robinson's later behavior. But that's an important point to correct. His crimes were his responsibility. Monica did not cause them. Her decision to end the relationship was not responsible for anything he later did. In fact, her decision to trust her instincts may have saved her life. Robinson was eventually convicted in Virginia of murdering two women, Alani Beth Redman and Tonita Smith. In May 2026, he was sentenced to 2 life terms, along with additional prison time for concealing the bodies. Authorities have also investigated possible connections to other women's deaths, but those additional cases should not be confused with the murders for which he was convicted. And that distinction matters when discussing a real case. There is a difference between a confirmed conviction and an allegation or investigation. The Lifetime movie dramatizes Monica's experience, so not every scene should be treated as a literal record of what happened. Lifetime describes the film as being based on a true story. The movie follows Monica meeting Anthony online, becoming involved with him, noticing his increasingly threatening behavior, and eventually getting him out of her home. It was released on February 14, 2026. But the real Monica story is much more complicated than the movie can show in 90 minutes. So yes, Monica White survived in real life. And perhaps the most frightening part of her story is that she didn't survive because she knew she was dating a murderer. She didn't. She survived because she eventually recognized that something was wrong and ended the relationship. The warning signs came gradually. Robinson moved too quickly. He reacted badly to rejection. He crossed physical boundaries. His behavior became increasingly unpredictable. And he refused to simply disappear after Monica ended the relationship. None of those things alone necessarily proves that someone is a murderer, but together they created a situation Monica no longer felt comfortable being in. And she listened to that feeling. That is the real lesson behind her story. You don't need to know exactly what someone is planning before you decide that you don't want them in your life. You don't need evidence that someone is dangerous. And you don't need to wait for something worse to happen. Monica later learned that Robinson had been convicted of killing women he met through dating sites. That discovery completely changed the way she looked back at their relationship. The man who had appeared on her phone as a potential romantic partner was actually a convicted murderer. And the fact that she had allowed him into her home made that realization even more frightening. But there is another important distinction between Monica's real story and the Lifetime movie. The movie is a dramatization. Lela Rochon plays Monica, while Jared Joseph plays Anthony Robinson. The film uses dramatic scenes to tell Monica's story, and some details are necessarily condensed or recreated for television. The real-life account comes from Monica's own recollections and reporting about her experience. So when we ask, did Monica White survive, the answer is very clear. Yes, she survived. She was never convicted as a victim in Robinson's murder cases. She got away from him before his crimes became known to her, and she has since spoken publicly about the experience. Robinson, meanwhile, remains imprisoned after his 2026 sentencing for the Virginia murders. That makes Monica's story different from many true crime cases. She wasn't discovered after a crime, she wasn't rescued from a crime scene. She recognized that the relationship was becoming dangerous and ended it. Then, months later, she learned how serious the danger may have been. And that's why her story has attracted so much attention. It isn't just about a dating app. It's about how difficult it can be to know who you're really dealing with. A stranger can appear charming online. They can tell you stories about their life. They can make you feel understood. But trust should be earned slowly. And when someone's behavior makes you uncomfortable, you are allowed to leave. Monica White did exactly that. She walked away before she knew the full truth, and that decision may have saved her life. The movie may be called The Dating App Killer, but the real story isn't about a woman who became another victim. It's about a woman who got out. And that is why Monica White survived in real life.